Hi, this is Des of Peg and Des on Princesses, Long Island. Peg is still on vacation. I'm still holding the fort down. This week, there were a couple of sidebar items that happened on the show and the main event. And let's get to the main event right away. We see Ashlee and Joey in the vineyard fighting. We see Erica in the vineyard urinating. We see Chanel in the vineyard running after Ashlee. We see Amanda in the vineyard drinking and flirting with the vineyard owners. There's so much activity in the vineyard. So Erica puts together what seemed to be an amazing day. I wish I was actually invited on that trip, with the exception of all the foolishness that happened. But she puts together an amazing day, invites the girls out to the vineyard. So everyone goes, they do a tour. From the moment that they arrive at the vineyard, Ashlee is already putting on airs, the way my mother says. Putting on airs. The people at the vineyard said, why don't you climb some stairs, would look to really be maybe a flight of stairs, so that you can take a look at the tubes. I don't quite know what those are called. They're these large cylinder structures in the vineyard rooms where they actually store the wine. And so they said, why don't you come on up to the top? You can have a look into one of those, but you need to climb some stairs to do so. Now, considering that Ashlee is 30 years old, I don't imagine that that's the first time she's been asked to climb some stairs. She does so in a spectacular fashion. She needs hand holding. There's hyperventilation. She's scared of heights. She needs help coming down. And Chanel is there to cater to her the entire time. I can't quite tell if Chanel is sensitive or if she's a follower. I can't tell. But either way, Ashlee starts out the day acting very silly. Then they go out into the actual vineyard and they have a dinner or lunch of some sort outside. It's beautiful. And Erica, in only the way Erica can, twitches her way into the conversation and says, I think there's an elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room, of course, is the tension between Ashlee and Joey, because they haven't been speaking all day, just giving each other side eye. And Joey immediately says, I don't want to discuss it, which is what she repeats for the next, let's say 15 to 20 minutes as she discusses it, between saying, I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to discuss it, but you made me mad. I don't want to discuss it, but you call me a bad person. I don't want to discuss it. You get on my nerves. That's how it went. And Ashlee continues to pursue. She is very proactive during this argument, going in. I can't even remember the premise of what they were saying to each other, mostly because it wasn't about much. But I do remember when the camera cut to Ashlee in the confessional, and Ashlee said, I felt like a bulldog was coming after a little chihuahua or a little Yorkie. I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, Ashlee. You got mad at Joey for calling you funny looking. Now you're a chihuahua? Now you're a Yorkie? I just didn't think that you would call yourself a pet, considering you're so sensitive about your looks. But anyways, Ashlee gets up from the table and says to Joey in a final, just her final moment, your mother was right about you. And that's when the argument went from here to here. How do you say something like that to someone? Clearly knowing that Joey has a poor relationship with her mother. Whatever's going on between Ashlee and Joey is so childish and so minuscule that Ashlee's decision to bring up that girl's mother in that argument was what people call fighting words. That's really what that was. That is how you get hurt. Right there. I'm not an advocate for violence. I'm just recommending that Joey hit her. Ashlee walks away, does full victim, goes back to the main building of the vineyard and does exactly what we expect her to do. Calls her mother and her father to ask them exactly what she needs to do in that moment. Parents tell her, can you contact the owner of the vineyard and get some car service, because she would have never thought to do that herself. She responds, can you give me a jet? A jet? But we're so distraught. We need the G5. We've got that G5 distraught in our system. So after she requests a jet, she, proceeds to do a very, very ugly cry. Makeup is smeared. Chanel runs after her, and that's really the crux of what happened. Joey, Amanda, and Erica remain at the table. The three of them have a conversation about the fact that now there are lines between the group. Erica keeps talking about the fact that her father's going to be so disappointed that the girls are late for the booze cruise that he planned that evening. And they hop in the van with preparations to leave, thinking Chanel and Ashlee are going to find some way to get back to Long Island. Chanel is planning to do so, but Ashlee disappears off the highway. It was like a scene out of Sixth Sense. The Bravo camera was on the highway. We see Ashlee and her munchkin self on the highway looking like she's about to thumb a ride, and then before you know it, Charlize Theron from Monster picks her up to take her in the truck. Who knows where she is? Who knows what's going on? We see in the upcoming episode, though, that there's a report that Ashlee's in the hospital. How she made it to the hospital, why she's there, we don't know. But this entire episode was about that fight, and it just hit a peak. So that's where the girls are. The lines have been drawn, the weapons have been drawn, and the girls just don't like each other anymore. This week we also saw Amanda have dinner with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's family. Jeff's family can't wait to marry Jeff off to Amanda. They would love nothing more. Babs, however, could love nothing less. Babs had this passive-aggressive attitude at the table. Did you notice that? Whenever someone would say something about Amanda and Jeff being together, Babs would put her fork in her spaghetti and say, "No, they not." "I'm sorry, Babs, we couldn't hear you." "No, they not." "No, they not." That's what went on all dinner. And then Amanda says, Jeff and I are planning to move in together. We're just moving down the highway. "No, you're not." Fork and spaghetti. "No, you're not." That's just really how that dinner went. I'm not sure what's going to happen between the two of them. I can imagine that Amanda may hop off the mother train and go ahead and marry Jeff anyway. Maybe they'll elope. Maybe she'll just move in anyway. I think we're going to see what happens with that relationship next week. And other than that, those were the two events that happened this episode. So the girls are fighting. Amanda's still trying to convince her mother that Jeff is the one. And then next week, we have a season finale coming up. So make sure to watch other videos that we have on this channel, like Love and Hip Hop, Couples Therapy, and Mistresses. Make sure also to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, love on this video, and follow us at Peg and Des on Twitter. Thanks so much. Goodbye.